In a world where the gridiron is a battlefield and the NFC North is a kingdom up for grabs, a land of roaring fans, clashing titans, and dreams forged in the fire of free agency. The year is 2025. The day, March 12th. The new league year has just begun. A day the Chicago Bears rise as the offseason champions, wielding trades for Joe Thuney and Jonah Jackson like swords, and signing the like of Drew Dalman to shield their young king, Caleb Williams. In the shadows, the Detroit Lions sharpen their claws, swapping Carlton Davis III for DJ Reed, clinging to the resilience with Derrick Barnes and Marcus Davenport, as June and Foster whisper of glory yet to come. Across the frozen tundra, the Green Bay Packers carve their legacy with Aaron Banks and Nate Hobbs. A calculated strike for supremacy. And in Minnesota, the Vikings unleash a storm. Jonathan Allen, Will Fries, Byron Murphy Jr., and more. While Dave saw the fall of Sam Darnold as heralding the rise of J.J. McCarthy. In this realm of chaos and ambition, four voices emerge from the fray. Pay, the frustrated sage of Chicago, wielding truth like a battering ram. June and Foster, the Detroit duo, echoing hope from bleachers to speakers. And Dave, the Viking sentinel, chanting SKOL amidst the storm. Together, they converge on the Fans First Sports Network in a podcast battle for the ages. Who will be king? One division, four teams, a crown unclaimed. This is their story. This is the NFC North Roundup. Tune in or be left behind. Let the battles begin. Good afternoon, gentlemen. It's another day, only it's a special day. Happy New Year's to you all.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, the league New Year. Starting
I get what you're putting down, Dave.
4 o'clock Eastern, 3 o'clock Central. And there's already moves coming in. Now, we had to start a little bit early because Pay's got a hard out at 1:30. So we're still waiting on Foster to get home from work, but he'll get there.
He has a job?
Well,
never mind.
I assume so. All right. All the way on the viewers left, Pay from the disgruntled, the disappointed, the. Hey,
I don't think you can say that today.
Fan.
Why can't I?
No, you're not disappointed today.
Well, you're right. We are right. We're doing a thing. We're very good at this time of the year. You're right.
Hey, you heard me. I gave you the offseason championship. You hang the banner.
Yeah. We're putting it right next to all those very dusty banners hanging in United Center.
Wow.
Oh, it isn't that bad, is it?
No. We are loving life right now. Only thing that can make this offseason better is if that guy A-Rod, who we'll talk about later, brings his tail right back to the Midwest.
No,
comes right back to our schedule.
No,
and history can happen yet again. Hey, shout out to Nas, Dave. Nas told you it was written. It's gotta happen.
No. I am sick and tired of seeing that man on my timeline. I do not want to see him in purple. Period.
Purple, black, and yellow works for me either way.
Who else to mentor JJ McCarthy?
That's what we have Kevin O'Connell for. But no, But we'll see.
I mean, Daniel Jones is gone. There's room now for Aaron.
There is room, but would he take a backup role?
Oh no, he's your starter.
I know. See, that's the problem. Well, he's the problem. I don't care which role he takes. He's the problem. But we'll get on. We need to talk about Chicago so Pay can get out of here on time. Pay, what did the Bears do over the last week that has you all giddy and winning the offseason trophy?
Last week, we talked about the Bears shoring up that interior offensive line, right? Which is a very, very, very important part of your football team. You got to have that. You can't have your star, your franchise quarterback getting rushed from the interior line of that pocket. So last week, don't want to go too far into it. We traded for Jonah Jackson, former Lions guard, and we traded for perennial Pro Bowler, 4-time champion, Joe Thuney from the Kansas City Chiefs. Got that short. Now this week was a big week because we could not strike out this week because then we got to go right back into the draft. Like, all right, we got to pull. We got to make magic in the draft. We don't have to do that because we got the number one center off the board, Dave. Mr. Dalman out of Atlanta, 4th rated center last season if you trust PFF. They had him at 4th rated. We'll take it because he's better than ours. The one we was putting out there last year, the 3 we put out there last year. We'll take it. That is immediate upgrade. So now we got 2 new guards and a new center. Now, if we can flip and get another left tackle, Dave, we're cooking with gas, house money at that point going into the draft. Also, the Falcons also cut ties with Grady Jackson. Grady Jackson, very good defensive tackle. You know, his best days are not in front of him, obviously. But he's an improvement for our defensive line. We will take that as well. We made some other additions. We got Mbadejo, also going on the defensive line. We picked up what was another? We got another offensive lineman, if I'm not mistaken, too.
Durham Smythe, tight end.
Right. Oh, we are right. Smythe, who should mostly be a blocking tight end when we get together, but we don't know that yet because we have no idea what type of offensive philosophy Ben Johnson is going to incorporate here with the Chicago Bears. But all in all, Dave, we are very happy. We've answered the bell. Ryan Poles answered the bell this offseason. After this point, he's gotten everybody we had at the top of our list. We got the coach we wanted. We got the players we wanted out of free agency. All of them, interior alignment from last year, all gone. Scrapped them out, swapped them in with better players, Pro Bowl pedigree, all pro pedigree at some points, in some areas. And so there's no more I don't think that we had excuses, but the reasons for our, I won't even say mediocrity, the reasons for our futility the last 2 seasons is moving away. And now we got to start getting those results. And onto the draft and onto the most important day of the offseason for me so far, schedule day, because I want to know. I want to see when we get to see Aaron Rodgers this season, because I know we're going to see him. I know we're going to see him.
Oh, we'll see. You guys just had the press conference between Poles and your new coach, right?
Mm-hmm.
What did they say about where your new linemen, Joe Thuney and Jonah Jackson, are going to play, since they both came from the same side?
So there's a through line you can take from how Ryan Poles, general manager of Chicago Bears, likes to get his offensive lineman. He likes guys that are versatile, which is not a bad thing. I would prefer my versatile lineman as well, because if you pay attention to the Chicago Bears last year, we had injuries at every position across the offensive line last season. So you need to be able to move guys over, and so you can plug holes. And based on some of the things that Ryan Poles has done in the past previous seasons, maybe his eye for depth isn't as keen as his eye is frontline names, as guys that are on ESPN, those guys. So if he knows names but doesn't really know depth, you would prefer that let's get the names that are versatile. At least that way, we can shore up both ends of the candle. Because when we bring in those guys, those depth pieces, those backups, they seem to not cover the bases that you would necessarily need them to do. So Joe Thuney, he's played every position across the offensive line. Jonah Jackson, he's good at both guard positions. The idea right now is they're not showing their hand as far as what they're going to do in the draft, but the idea right now is that they're both going to play opposite of each other. If you listen to what is coming from Hallis Hall, I don't think that's how it's going to play when it comes to the season. I think they're still going to add another name or two to the offensive line, and maybe you have these two guys backing each other up. Maybe what so happens that we might end up moving Joe Thuney off of his preferred guard spot and moving him to somewhere else where he can be more needed. I would prefer he stay inside, but there's some conversations in some of these Bear fan groups, Reddit. Maybe Thuney can Thuney play left tackle still? I don't know. Let's find out. Let's figure it out. But as of right now, the plan is to keep both of them inside. Maybe one back up the other, but coming out of their mouth, they're both starters right now.
Well, Ben Johnson said this afternoon, Thuney will play left and Jackson will play right.
Right.
Is what they've got them starting.
It sounds like that's what they want to do. At least that's what they're saying, right? But this is lying season, Dave. Even though lying season hasn't ended yet, it's still lying season.
Especially when you're trying to pump up your fans.
Of course. Pump me up, baby. I would probably assume that they add another name, and Jonah and Thuney, they primarily play the same position majority of the season.
Interesting. June Foster, welcome to the show. What's happened in Detroit over the last week?
Nothing. We didn't expect much. We got what we wanted though. One of the things where there was a possibility of Carlton Davis leaving. We knew that a couple of weeks ago with his cryptic post. And we knew that it was a slight chance he'd be asking for a big number, and it's kind of hard to fathom whether you're going to pay such a big number when he hasn't completed a full season the last 2 seasons. So we were hoping that either we would re-sign him and get him, either re-sign Carlton Davis or get a replacement, and that's what happened. We wound up getting DJ Reed out of from the Jets. Very worthy QB1. There's some in-house signings that we were hoping to get. We got one with Levi Onwuzurike, the D
I
tackle.
thought you were going to say Davenport. Sorry.
You won't hear me mentioning Davenport, probably for ever. Davenport was a person that they re-signed. Head scratcher there, but it is what it is. There hasn't been much to talk about. It's outside of DJ Reed and Onwuzurike, but I guess their philosophy is, you don't have to do much if you're comfortable with what you have. I don't understand it sometimes, but at the same time, I get it. I mean, you don't have to do a complete overhaul. You do need to get some key pieces. I was waiting to hear from a pass rush, but I guess they'll address it in the draft. Foster, if I missed anything, please chime in.
Yeah, I mean, so they did a good job of I guess shoring up the depth a little bit. Levi Onwuzurike was a dependable, durable player for us this past year. That's one thing that he's actually kind of struggled with over the last few years, but he's finally kind of shaped into what we expected him to be. We also went out and got a guy named Ray Lopez who kind of plays that traditional nose tackle position. So he'll be a good rotational interior piece as we await Aleem McNeil to be healthy, but he can play alongside DJ Reeder. Now we got 2 DJ Reeds. That's just ridiculous. But so I'm left to believe that they have something up their sleeve. Obviously, they could have retained Zadarius Smith for one more year, but they decided to move to part ways with him unless they, figure something else out moving forward, because he hasn't signed anywhere else yet. But I'm left to believe that as far as that every down pass rusher that can impact the defense opposite Hutch, they have to be looking to, trade up to get one up to, whatever edge rusher they desire, or, there's still a couple guys out there. There's still Matt Judon and a couple other guys that could possibly be placed as a starter on that opposite edge. But it's still yet to be seen. I do like the DJ Reed option. We get him for considerably less money. He's been quite a bit more durable than Carlton Davis. He's got a 84.4 coverage grade, which is 7th amongst all corners since 2022. But he's a solid. I think that he's probably more of a prototypical solid CB2 because he's limited size wise, but he'll be able to provide some veteran leadership to our young cornerback unit, and hopefully Terrion Arnold can develop into that the CB1. He's obviously only going into his second year, so I think there's still some moves yet to be made. I didn't expect a lot of big splashes. I think our biggest splash is going to be extending players from within the system. Still got to extend Gibbs. Hutch, Kirby Joseph, eventually Gibbs, although I think they'll wait. They'll be cautious about the running back. Still Jamison Williams. So I think that Brad Holmes has emphasized that we are going to draft good players, develop them, and invest from within with what we know.
Okay. I hate to break some news to you.
We know. Kevin Zeitler's gone.
Zeitler just signed a 1-year, $9 million deal with the Titans.
We know.
I did not know that. Wait, where'd he go?
Tennessee Titans. But we have a young man named Mahogany who filled in for him when he was out a couple of games. So, and we're very confident in him. So,
Hey,
That's okay. Yeah, I like Zeitler though. Zeitler was.
I like Zeitler, but can't cry over it. It is what it is.
he's getting older.
Yeah. He's getting older, but he was playing at a pretty top notch level.
right.
Yeah, for sure.
I was hoping we'd get him to make our team even older, but nah.
Brad Holmes is bargain shopping it, man. He's bargain shopping.
Okay.
It ain't bargain shopping when you're investing in your core, though. I don't know.
It's going
But
to
I
be
guess
interesting.
shopping is when I guess when you're going outward. We're definitely cheap on the outside.
All right. Well, that leaves another team in the division, the team we all love to hate, the Green Bay Packers.
Oh, why?
They agreed to sign or re-signed Isaiah McDuffie, the linebacker. Whoop whoop. We'll see how that goes. They re-signed Brandon McManus, their kicker. Whoop whoop. Aaron Banks. This one was a head scratcher. They went in early on Monday and snagged Aaron Banks from San Francisco. And the whole story with San Francisco, that's a whole show in itself. They are self-destructing. But they got the oft-injured Aaron Banks, guard, paid him 4 years, $77 million, which seems ridiculous. And this is coming from a guy who signed Will Fries for 5 years and $88 million. It's I laugh. I laughed out loud. Did they improve? Yeah, sort of. If he stays healthy, we'll see. They also signed Nate Hobbs, cornerback from the Raiders. Okay. That makes you question what's happening to their quarterbacks. And we will see. Eric Stokes can go. Eric Wilson, the linebacker, he can go. There's a ton of stuff that can happen. They're not doing a whole lot, but just the mere fact that they came in on Monday and made a splash was a little bit shocking to me because that's so out of character for Green Bay. You guys have any thoughts? No? Okay.
My thought is that
FTP.
Green Bay. Well, that's the general thought, right? My thoughts on what they've done so far is that they are okay with bringing up the rear in this division in 2025.
Dalton is predicting that they're going to finish last.
Yeah, they definitely should finish last this year. And no excuses for any other team that may have envisions or desires on beating them to the basement. The Packers, they needed to upgrade in a few areas. I think on offense, I think they needed to upgrade their interior line as well. Maybe needed a new left tackle, a new, left tackle for the next 10 years. They probably get that in the draft, and they definitely need better, more reliable wide receivers. I think they lost Christian Watson this free agency period. If I'm not mistaken, he's always hurt. So, but that's the whole story on their whole wide receiver room anyway. They're always hurt. So a lot of areas that on offense that they haven't addressed as of yet makes my heart warm. On defense, I haven't heard the shoe drop yet, but my guy who's been their best defensive player for 5 years now. Damn, I just had his name. I lost it right there. Starts with a J.
Jair Alexander.
Yeah, yes, Mr. Alexander. There was rumors that he was going to be a cap casualty. I haven't heard. That shoe hasn't dropped yet. But keep your ears to the ground for that one, because once that happens, guess what? It was written, Dave. I'm telling you, it was written. Their Hall of Fame quarterback goes to New York, stinks up the joint, He comes back to the Midwest. The Bears in his career, all while the Bears are ascending and the Packers are going back to the basement of the division. It was all written, Dave. We've seen this story before.
Yeah, that's why I don't want to see it again. However, I'll take Brett Favre over Aaron Rodgers. And Brett Favre has got, I think his CTE's acting up. He had a interview where he says Rodgers should go to Minnesota. It was fun. And it's like, no. Speaking of Minnesota, we haven't
the
been
C in CTE for Brett Favre's C in CTE stands for convenient.
Oh, but speaking of Minnesota, we have not been quiet. We've been busy. First day started it a little slow. We extended Theo Jackson, our safety. This is most likely to make up for Cam Bynum. Cam Bynum went to Indianapolis, and Theo Jackson will probably take the starting role next to Hitman Smith. Harry is being rumored, and I think he's already made a decision. He's coming back for one more year and build on his Hall of Fame credentials. But I think it was a good deal. Theo Jackson has done well and deserves it. We extended running back Aaron Jones, 2-year, $20 million, but it's actually a lot less, and it's a good deal. We will most likely still draft a running back in the draft to pair with him, but we shall see. We extended our punter, Ryan Wright. Whoopee. He was an restricted free agent, and if we would have tendered him, it would have cost more, but we extended him, and he should hopefully have some sort of competition in camp. We will see. And Daniel Fall reminds me, Bubba Bolden, we signed him, and everybody goes, who? He was a kid that has played on a couple practice squads, hasn't played a snap in the NFL, but did really well down in the UFL last year, and he was picked up. I expect him to be a bottom of the roster kid, but we'll see. Now, we get to the deals that we made. Late on Monday night, we extended Byron Murphy Jr., our Pro Bowl cornerback, and gave him a decent deal worth $22 million AVV, but it's not going to work out that much. It never does. It all depends on how the numbers are, but the Vikings never do that. Tuesday, we wake up in the morning, and before Tyler was awake, because I was screaming at him, we had gotten 3 more round bellies. We got center Ryan Kelly from the Colts. Actually, we had him on Monday. He's older. I think he's 30, 31, 32, somewhere in there. 31 years old. And then when Tuesday morning, we got his partner in crime, Will Fries, the young guard. We gave him a 5-year contract for $88 million, which I think is going to be an underpay when it's all said and done. He was on a trajectory to be a Pro Bowler last year until he broke his tibia. But a bone break is a lot easier to repair than tendons, so I'm happy there. We got 2 offensive linemen. We may change out the third one yet, but we'll see. But we've replaced the 2, which is something Kwesi and KOC talked about after the season. These guys are big, strong, and they've got attitude. And it's switching to more of a power game, which I think will help. And it will help alleviate the problems we had last year against good interior pressure, especially where our center and our guards got forklifted back into Sam Darnold's lap. And then we get 2 defenders. We get tackle Javon Hargrave. His contract was just announced. It's 2 years, $30 million, which isn't too bad for a former All-Pro. Now he's older. He's 32. And we get, I'm trying to remember the other one from the Niners. Jonathan Allen.
That one just happened, right? Jonathan Allen?
It happened on Tuesday.
Okay, which one just happened? Like maybe an hour ago or something?
Hargrove is the most recent.
The
Jonathan Allen,
is the one they announced the numbers. The deal was done.
Jonathan Allen's from DC.
Yeah. And the deal was done on Tuesday, but they couldn't announce the numbers because he hadn't been released yet. But, hey, like I said, 49ers are blowing everything up for some reason. But, hey, the printing shop, hey, buddy, he's from down under. He says if the Vikings don't make the playoffs this year, he's done. We'll make the playoffs unless they go something stupid like getting Pay's wet dream and having Aaron Rodgers come to Minnesota. But
either purple or black and gold, one or the other.
Well, I can see black and gold, but
he's
got to make a decision and get off the pot.
Get off the pot.
Yeah, that's
we're talking about Aaron Rodgers here.
Yeah, I know. It's ridiculous, but
he's not getting off the pot.
Interesting play on words there.
Yes. We've lost quite a few players. Sam Darnold, the biggest of the bunch, he went out to Seattle, and they promptly traded all their receivers away, and their O-line is horrible. Backup quarterback Nick Mullins went to Jacksonville, and he's going to help mentor whoever they're going with, which is Trevor. And Johnny Mutt, the best third string tight end in the league, also went there. Cam Bynum went to the Colts. Patrick Jones went to Carolina Panthers. He's what I call the cleanup man, an edge rusher that was always fortunate to clean up what other guys pushed his way. And that's it. I think Tyrus Tonga also left, but he's been for the Bears and for the Vikings. And I think he's probably coming up on the end of his career. So we'll see. That's what the Vikings have been up to. We do have a couple big rumors. One, obviously, Didier from New York. And two, the one that's hitting around is, would the Vikings make a trade for Sauce Gardner? We're going to talk about that more tonight. It was started, I think, a bogus rumor that it was under the talks. The trade would involve Jordan Addison and Sauce Gardner, and probably a little bit more on the Viking side. But I don't know. We'll see. But overall, how are you guys? Are you happy with your results, June?
It's I'm kind of even keeled about it, and I probably would have been the same way if we'd acquired a bunch of people. Anyway, I never agree with anybody that Brad Holmes selects to get in the offseason. So I just kind of wait and see how things play out. I never agree with anything.
Foster, you're the more optimistic one. Do you like what they've done?
At this current moment, I'm definitely looking for more. I may not feel any differently until we get to the draft. But I was a little taken back by the Zadarius Smith situation. I thought that certainly because the Marcus Davenport decision was made first, I thought for certain if we're looking to cut a couple million, that it wouldn't make sense to bring Marcus Davenport back and release the actual durable, individual that had 9 sacks on the year. He had a PFF around 80. I mean, and we had one more year with them. So I'm not sure where the disconnect was but yeah, that part of it did confuse me. And then, I was certainly, I mean, it appears that they want to make Christian Mahogany, who played well in limited snaps. I think he had like 78 snaps, but had a very high PFF rating. Only had 1 penalty. It appears that they're ready for him to proceed as the predecessor to Zeitler. But yeah, I'm in the middle. I say C plus right now as far as our off season. I do like that we were able to pivot off of Carlton Davis to DJ Reed. I think that is a very serviceable option. He played. Speaking of Sauce Gardner, they had very comparable numbers with DJ Reed actually getting more targets. They had a pretty even coverage score. And I also like the Levi Onwuzurike signing as well. I think that he earned this keep this year, being one of the few guys that I think he played in every game last year, and he had very serious back injury issues prior to this year. So I am in the middle right now as far as the moves we've made.
Gotcha. Now, you mentioned Zadarius Smith.
Yeah.
Pay keeps talking about somebody that needs to go to Minnesota because it is written in history and he wants to repeat it. Speaking of something written, Zadarius needs to go to Chicago to complete the circuit.
Hey, I gotta say I hate to see it because he would definitely make it a point to
have 6 revenge games every year.
Yeah, but most importantly, the 2 against us. But but he's certainly going to go somewhere because he's still. I mean, we leaned on him heavily as our sole impactful edge rusher down the stretch. So I gotta believe they have something. They have something up their sleeve. We've obviously had 2, great seasons over the last 2 years. So I'm not in a position to question them too heavily, but gotta be something. I gotta think that they plan on trading up and getting their guy at edge rusher, because Marcus Davenport, I don't want to say he's not that guy, but it's still yet to be seen if he's that guy. And
he's got to be able to stay healthy.
Absolutely. And we've already been through this with Emmanuel Mosley. We brought him back after playing 3 snaps in 2024, and he played in 0 snaps in 2025 in a year that he came into it with a clean bill of health. Didn't last long, but he started with a clean bill of health.
Pay, you got to run. You got any last words?
Well, Zadarius Smith, on that last topic, he's been a Viking, he's been a Lion, he's been a Dairy. His final form and his transformation is to be Cocaine Bear. Let's go, Bear down.
Jesus Christ!
Check it out. We at First Rate Chicago Sports Fan Channel. We're gonna have our free agent rundown posting tomorrow. Everything the Bears have done, everything that's happened, as well as in the NFL and the division. So catch that out with more in depth from everyone's viewpoint. And we all over here at this channel do not agree about what the Bears have done this offseason. I am happy they did everything I asked them to do. My co-hosts want to see more glitz and glamour. But it's going to be a good show. Check it out there. Anywhere you get your podcast aggregators, Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Amazon Music, and all the rest. Also available on YouTube. Great show, guys.
All right. See you, buddy.
See ya.
All right. Pay is done for the day.
Good.
And we didn't even bring up our other rumor to Minnesota. And that is Cooper Kupp. Will he come to Minnesota? It makes sense. But is he going someplace else to get paid?
Well, he could always reunite with an old teammate who he had some success with. Just throwing that out there. Mr. Goff.
With plenty of room under the cap.
Uh-huh. Well, I think all three of our teams are fine for cap. I think all four of them.
I mean, you guys have spent enough money.
We still have room to make other moves. But it is what it is. We'll see. Now, it especially plays in if what we thought was a bogus rumor of some schmuck on the internet talking about the trade for Sauce Gardner, if that materializes, then Cooper Kupp makes a hell of a lot more sense. But he does make sense. Right now, our wide receiver 1, obviously Justin Jefferson. Wide receiver 2, Jordan Addison. Wide receiver 3 is Jalen Nailor. Now, the problem with Jalen Nailor is he's a deep guy. He's not so much underneath the middle. Well, Cooper Kupp is fearless across the middle. And that would make sense. Now, I'd like to get both of them, keep both of them. Nailor's under contract, so that's not a big deal. But I would love to get him in there, because who would help young J.J. McCarthy than Cooper Kupp? I think it would be great to have. Now, Daniel says New England's most likely for Kupp, and he probably is, because New England's throwing stupid money at people. Whether it be Milton Williams to give a pass rushing defensive tackle $28 million a year, who played less than 50% of the snaps. Oy. But what do you think of the salaries going up? Some of the stupid money that's going around.
I'm all for it. I think the game has the money, the revenue has increased. The product is just as good as ever as far as viewership. I mean, they play. I mean, it went to a expanded playoffs into an extra regular season game. So yeah, I mean, with all that, the money has to increase. The salaries have to increase.
Yep. And the best way to evaluate it is percent of cap.
Yeah.
It's I heard today, you look at the top ranked center 4 years ago, 2019. And the top ranked center contract now is twice as what it was in 2019. But percentage of cap, it's the same, which is crazy.
Yeah.
They're close to the same. So, and T-Bass, my buddy, he says product now is garbage compared to the 70s and 80s. The game has changed, and we all know that. It's evolved, the different style of play, what's legal, what's not legal. We know that quarterbacks have to wear skirts, and you got to lay them down and tuck them in, especially if they're named Patrick Mahomes. That's different. But the athleticism is better now. The size and strength is better now. And it's all an evolution of the game, which is cool. And the money's going up. It went up. What was it? I heard 25 or 50% in the last 2 years, something like that. It's not 50%, but a big chunk in just the last two years. T-Bass doesn't mean it's good. Well, it'd be good if we win, go to all the way to the Super Bowl and win it. Go JJ McCarthy. And fuck Rodgers.
Tell us how you really feel, though.
It irritates me to no end that he's swamping my feeds. I don't wish that pain on you guys.
Thank you.
I don't think it's a possibility that it's going to happen this way.
Mm-hmm. But
I've seen stranger things, though.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen. Well, I don't know if I've seen from Detroit, but we haven't actually predicted out some of the things they've done already.
Yeah.
I mean, how much money would you have put down that we wouldn't? I mean,
yeah.
Campbell. One thing about Campbell is if he rocks with you, first of all, it's apparent to everybody that he messes with you. You just like we knew he was not an iffy guy. You could just tell. To me, anyways. You could tell that he liked Emmanuel Mosley. He might bring Emmanuel Mosley back again. He liked him so much.
If that happens, I will be in Allen Park slapping everybody in the offices. I'm telling you.
But he definitely likes Marcus Davenport. He never coached him previously, right? No.
When Davenport's healthy, he plays well. And I just got a message. I have it on good authority. Rodgers is going to sign with the Vikings at the end of the week on a 1-year deal.
What?
I hope not.
Yeah.
JJ is not. Yeah.
My source has been probably right 90% of the time-ish.
Deep down inside, you're like, all right, we got some stability there.
No, give me JJ.
He does not want Aaron Rodgers. That he said.
How was the Brett Favre era for you? Was it?
I was podcasting back then, and I was obviously writing back then, and I was very, very much anti Brett Favre coming to Minnesota.
Okay.
I didn't dislike the man. I loved his enthusiasm for playing football. He played football for all the right reasons. He enjoyed the game, and I absolutely loved it. I just didn't like the fact that he was a Packer and abused us for so long. And that just, it irritated me, and his attitude irritated me because they had so much success back then. Not all the whole time he was there. We beat them plenty. But it's just, it wasn't, and I thought it was a bad mistake. He seemed washed when we got him. He just came off the whole controversy of sending pictures and the Jets, and he came off injured, and I thought it was a bad idea. But then 2009 turned into one of the most fun seasons I've ever watched. It was a blast. Then they tried to run it back on 2010, and that was a disaster. Bass Drydock says, Dave, you forgot Rodgers. They also got Tavir Thompson. Yeah, I saw Tavir Thompson. He's a special teamer. We signed today from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, yeah, and T-Bass nails it. He didn't want Brett because all his Packer fans chirped the whole time. Yes. And they would always say, hey, it took a Packer to win you a Super Bowl. All that sort of crap. No. That's why I didn't want him. Now, he won me over. The dude loved the game, and I love that. He was emotional, and he was humorous, and he played great in 2009. I think his best season, other than going to the Super Bowl. But it was. I could live with Favre more than I could live with Rodgers. Rodgers, to me, is a locker room cancer. And this iteration of the Minnesota Vikings, with Kevin O'Connell and Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah, have preached culture, and developing that culture. And they've done a great job at it. I think they would blow it up if they brought in Rodgers. I think it would absolutely destroy it, and which tells me it's not them that's pushing it. There is a cabal that helps make decisions in the Minnesota Vikings, and I think it's one of those guys that is pushing it. But, hey, it is what it is. Hey, if the Wilfs want it, the Wilfs are going to get it. But however, I don't think it's necessarily them. But we'll see. Anthony says Aaron Rodgers will single-handedly destroy the culture Kwesi and KOC have spent 3 years building. That's
Dave, I was totally unaware of this accusation for Aaron Rodgers. I didn't pay attention to what anybody had to say about him as far as a locker room cancer type of person. I had no idea until there was rumors of him going to Minnesota, and you voiced your opinion on it. So,
really, he's had that reputation since Green Bay.
Especially the last couple of years. Yeah,
I didn't pay attention to anything Green Bay did outside of Sundays when they did.
No, he had it in Green Bay. He took it to New York. Got even more extreme. He's always been strange.
yeah. And it didn't help that he got hurt after like 3 plays when he first got there.
Yeah, not this last season, 2023. Yeah, 4 plays in, he pops his Achilles.
Yeah, it's like not much impact on the field in that way. So
no, I don't. He's 41. Nah, I pass.
Yeah, he's old. Jesus.
Yeah, I didn't know he was. Wow.
His arm isn't there anymore. The hell with it. Now, T-Bass says, Packers won the Super Bowl with Favre because of Reggie White and the defense. Yeah, it takes that. Now, T-Bass, are you telling me that they won the Super Bowl with Rodgers? Or did they have the complete team then? But
team game.
It is a team. You need both. You need be good on both sides of the ball. I learned Goff was won a Super Bowl in his second year. Is that correct?
He was in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, in the Super Bowl in his second year.
Yeah, they didn't win.
Okay,
and they blamed the loss on his lack of game.
That's why they not fired him. That's why they traded him, is because they didn't think he would be able to take him over this. Over there.
He did not have a good game in the Super Bowl that year.
Ooh, yeah, but just a second-year guy to get to the Super Bowl is pretty amazing.
He was pretty good throughout the season and in the playoffs. It's just that particular game, they just made a decision like, hey, maybe this guy isn't who we think he is.
I don't think he ever missed the playoffs up until when he got to Detroit.
Yeah.
T-Bass, Kevin O'Connell, if he's a great coach, isn't going to bring in the possibility of destroying the culture.
And, maybe he just, I think.
Yeah, Brady was 43, but Brady, I think, is a unicorn.
Yeah, I think when it comes to destroying a culture, I think the coaches have a lot of say so. And if you have great leadership, one man can't really destroy the culture.
But
I
your
think
quarterback is
well,
I won't say is the
no,
leadership, but he's
well, if it gets to that point, you can remove what's destroying the culture.
Hmm.
If you have a strong coaching regime, I think that helps. I'm not saying that a person can't destroy the culture, but if you have strong coaching, I mean, the chance.
It does help. They can restrain it, yeah. But still doesn't mean I want him on the team. I hope that's no. I'm ready to start JJ McCarthy.
for better or for worse, huh?
Yeah. Let him go. Now, the Vikings need to find a QB2 to back him
Mr.
up.
Jones is gone.
And we're thinking Gardner Minshew, maybe somebody like that. All we need is somebody to be good in the room with JJ. That's it, period. If JJ goes down, we're screwed. You're not going to find backup quarterbacks anymore that are going to win you, a championship just because they're there.
Not a championship, but Minshew with the Colts, didn't he go to the playoffs? Take them to the playoffs?
Yeah, you hope to get backup that'll win you half the games. But it's not like Seabass talking about eons ago. Back when Brett Favre played, you needed a quarterback that could step in and take you there. If that's how teams were built or planned to be built. It doesn't happen. Cause and effect, lock? What do you mean lock? Did I miss something? We shall see. But with that, where can the guys and the gals find you guys?
Don't forget the gals.
You can find me and Foster and Coach on Bleachers and Speakers on YouTube. And you can also find us anywhere you can find a podcast for your audio fix. Those are platforms like Spotify, YouTube Music, Pandora, anywhere you can catch a podcast. You can find us on Bleachers and Speakers, FFSN in your search there. You can also make sure that notification bell is on and download those episodes. When we drop content, if you have that notification bell on, you'll get an alert. So,
yes, and please do. They put out some good shows, good products, and it's well worth listening to. And it's not just football.
Right. We do basketball. We follow we have a podcast for the Pistons. That's post-game podcast. And Foster and Coach does Corner to Copa, which covers Detroit Tigers baseball. And spring training is in session. The season will be soon underway, and Foster will be covering it. And he'll be at most of the away games because he can afford to do so.
The away games, he says.
Yeah, the away games. What field do you got behind you on the wall?
Comerica Park.
Okay.
Detroit. Yeah.
So, it is what it is. We only do football for the moment. And football lifestyle with Sal Spice, which will be on tomorrow night. But tonight we have the Real Forno Show at 6:05. And Tyler's got a boatload planned for that. We're going to talk about what's happened so far in free agency up to this point. We're going to talk about possible trades, Cooper Kupp being one of them, the whole Sauce Gardner deal, and I'm sure Aaron Rodgers is going to be brought up. But then we're hit Sunday. 2 bloggers, Darren and I, will take our long-form, in-depth look at what happened this week with the Vikings, and it should be a blast, but we'll see. With that, what do we say, gentlemen? Not bad. Not bad at all today.
Wasn't quite as quiet as the offseason.
Right. Good. Daniel says, like, follow, and share, subscribe to all channels. They are all listed in the write-up. Go find them. These guys do a great job. And as we say in Minnesota, SKOL Vikings. And thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and rate us on your favorite podcast aggregator. Thank you for listening to this NFC North group effort on the Fans First Sports Network. This has been a frustrated Chicago sports fans, bleachers to speakers, Vikings First and SKOL, and of course, the Fans First Sports Network production. Thank you for listening.